Hi, my name is Shuhang, and I was recently let go by Shopee around 2 months ago, and this was my first product management job.
Hi everyone, I'm Helene. I'm a product manager at a late-stage startup in Southeast Asia. Big tech companies like Meta to Shopee are laying people off in this very difficult climate. Today, I have with me Shuhang, who has been very brave to share with us his story. So Shuhang, what exactly happened?
I was part of the map team in Shopee, and what I did was to ensure that the spatial data that we had was complete and accurate. So to have some context, we had a team of product managers and data scientists in Singapore, and then 2 other teams of product managers, engineers, data scientists in China. So on the day itself, it was on a Monday, I was going to work on the train, and we had an email notification that there was a town hall scheduled at 10:15 a.m. So I was on the train at 9 a.m. This was very unusual because it's such late notice. And everyone was asking in the office chat, oh, what's this town hall going to be about? I remember coming into my desk, so most of my team were working from home. So our department head told us that we had to drop all our meetings in the morning and just attend this town hall. Once it was 10:15, we went for a town hall. It was by our chief product officer, and he just said some keywords like macroeconomic factors, and we're heading into a recession, and they had to make some cuts. So he just said that the affected employees will be notified by the end of the week. And that's basically it. There was no Q&A, no clear reason given why do they need to resort to these layoffs, right?
How many people were there in that town hall?
Oh, we couldn't see. So it was in Zoom, and then they had they closed off we didn't know who was in that town hall. But I think it was most of the product teams and engineering teams. After that, I was still quite confident that my team wouldn't be affected because I really thought that we were a core part of the map team, and we thought that, I thought that we were irreplaceable. So I was quite confident. I was telling my colleagues there's nothing to worry about.
Actually, why do you think that your team was irreplaceable in the entire Shopee business?
Because I think we were the only ones dealing with the particular data, and it was really important on address creation and ensuring that the orders were fulfilled. Yeah, so that's why I had that idea that we were really important, and once they cut us, it was very difficult for them to ensure that things were running efficiently.
With this in mind, and then you were assuring your colleagues that, hey, we won't get affected.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my data science team was supposed to release an update to our API. And then I asked them about the progress. And then they told me that their Git access and their Jira access got cut off. So I was like, what? What just happened? So they told me that they're coming to the office to meet with HR to discuss the offboarding plans and whatnot. So I was really shocked at this point. And then at 4, my engineer, who is in Beijing, he also got his access cut off. He had basically no access to the chat, no access to Git, no access to our internal documents. So he just disappeared like a snap of a finger. And then we were quite shocked. We were still trying to process things. And so by the end of the day, we were all asking our manager what's going to happen to us, the PMs, right? So he didn't have an answer for us. Even he himself, he didn't know whether he was safe or not, or our team was safe or not. So we just had to wait for someone to tell us something.
All these engineers, we were pending to release a feature on that day, actually.
Yeah.
And yet, even before you did that, their access got cut.
Yeah.
Wow. They knew about them being let go through their stopped access.
Yeah.
Without having a formal meeting or a message from the rest of the management.
Yeah, so I think, I'm not really sure which came first. So they said the access got cut, and then they got a call from HR telling them that they were affected. Yeah, so they did get a call.
Okay, so the engineers were then being let go at that point in time, and everybody was all, not sure what was happening.
Yeah.
And the product managers at that point didn't receive anything?
No. So that was pretty much the end of the first day, and then we got a notification that the rest of the week we were supposed to work from home. I guess the reason was to make sure that we didn't know who was coming back to the office to pick up their stuff. Yeah, so they told us that, the rest of the week we are supposed to work from home. And basically, if you are going to office, that means you're affected by the layoffs, right? So on the second day, in the morning, at 10 a.m., my manager told us that he had a call with HR from 11 to 11:15. So he would tell us immediately after what the results were. So I think at the point of time, I was thinking there was only 2 options, right? Either he was the one that was getting cut and the rest of the team was safe, or the entire team would get cut, right? So after he had his call, we all got a call from HR, all the other product managers got a call from HR telling us that we were affected by the layoffs. So it was really a shock to me. because I honestly didn't expect this happening to me. And also that they were so clinical, they were so fast, right? Like immediately after they told my manager, they told us.
How long was like the interval?
I think it was like less than 1 or 2 minutes. So it's like almost immediate.
Okay.
Yeah. So over the call, they just said that you're affected and you need to come into office on the same day afternoon to kind of talk through some of the offboarding and other things. So it was quite a short call. I just hung up and then I just let my other colleagues know that I was affected. My team was affected. And basically, I just prepared to go to the office after that.
They gave you enough time to make that notification. They didn't like immediately like cut.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is like as engineers they have access to the code, right? So I think the risk is higher if they continue to have access. So if they're not really happy with the decision, they can potentially screw up the code base and whatnot. But as product managers, we don't really have that, so I guess the risk is slightly lower.
Eventually, do you know like out of your entire Max team, how many people were let go? Or?
I think in Singapore it was around 20 people, and then in China it was about 10 to 20 people.
And do you still keep in touch with them?
Yeah, I still keep in touch with my colleagues, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
At least like you managed to bring that network and relationship outside of Shopee.
Yeah.
And right after that, what do you do immediately?
So I kind of took some time to process it because there wasn't any closure given to us by the department head who ultimately made the decision to carry out the layoffs. Took like that week to kind of just recharge, meet up with my friends, let my friends and family know about the news. And also kind of think of what's next, because I feel like I'm a person, I think I'm a workaholic at heart. I like to keep doing stuff. So once I slow down, I feel very restless. I feel very, when there's no direction, I feel very unmotivated. Right. So I very quickly thought of like, okay, what are the things that I could do to help me get myself back on track and back to the job.
So you didn't wallow in like misery for
not really, no.
Yeah.
No.
Right. I think if it happened to me, I think you're very, very brave. And if it had happened to me, I think I might have taken a much longer time to get back up. And yeah, it's definitely not easy for sure.
Yeah.
So I really also wanted to find out from you. Number one, how did you very quickly collect yourself? And then number two, what were some of the strategies that you took to start a new job search?
Yeah, I think the first one is really understanding that these layoffs are not within your control. Most of the time, they are because of bigger reasons. And it's not that you are unskilled or you are not good enough. So you have to be kind to yourself and be okay with the fact that this has happened to you. Kind of look on the bright side and try to see like, since this has happened to you, like what can you get out of this situation?
I do think it's really because of like the wider climate and not because of, I don't know, like performance related issues. Because there are very, very outstanding people out there who are also affected. So it's pretty unfortunate. How long did you take from the time when you were informed to you devising a strategy?
I think I took about one to 1.5 weeks.
Okay.
So it was quite. I guess my strategy is just to get a job as quickly as possible. So how do I do it? Is like first you need your resume, right? You need your resume to be updated. You need your LinkedIn profile to be updated. So I worked on that first, and then I thought of like, okay, what's next? I need to prep for my interviews. So usually for associate roles, you have like 3 rounds of interviews, which is the first is the HR round or the phone screening. And then you have a round with the hiring manager, and then you have a round with like the execs. So I kind of focus more on the first 2 rounds, behavioral interviews, some product interviews. Yeah, so I kind of prepared on that, and then also thought of how I could increase the amount of leads or the amount of jobs I could apply for.
So how did you then increase like the leads that you got? Did you all like apply through, I don't know, like LinkedIn or like actual platforms, or do you get referrals, for example?
Yeah, so for leads, there are outbound and inbound leads, right? So outbound leads means you're actively finding for the job opportunities yourself. You're applying for them yourself, and then inbound is when someone or some people refer things to you. So there are like 2 strategies. So for outbound, I was just looking for companies on LinkedIn. There were some other job portals in Singapore, like Monster and JobStreet, but I didn't really find a lot of product management jobs there. So LinkedIn was still the best way for if you're in tech and you still want to stay in tech, and most tech companies are still advertising on LinkedIn. And for inbound, I was very lucky to have my post featured in the LinkedIn news. So I had a post regarding my layoffs, and it was I think it was put into the LinkedIn news. So it got a lot of traction, a lot of views, and a lot of people actually reached out to me,
awesome.
which I'm really thankful for. And they shared their advice, shared their opportunities with me. And I think one thing to do is to just be really thankful, be grateful for that, and to just follow up on them. You never know whether an opportunity would suit you or not.
And it's nothing to be like embarrassed or shy about,
Yeah.
to share that, this is what really happened. And
Yeah.
because of that, you got so many new opportunities coming your way. What gave you like the courage to just like put yourself out there and tell your network?
I think it was something more natural to me because I've been posting on LinkedIn more frequently in the past couple of months since I've been organizing the monthly Friends of Lenny's newsletter meetups in Singapore. So I met more people, expanded my network, and I wanted to kind of tap into that and see how I could get help from my newfound friends. So I tried to, after my layoffs, I tried to still work within the working hours and relax outside of that. So after about 1.5 years at Shopee, I kind of knew what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do. So I tried to look for jobs that allow me to do what I want to do, which is more on identifying the problem, doing user interviews, all that, like the first part of a product manager's job, which is to find out what problem you're trying to solve. So I've tried to find opportunities at more product-led companies in Singapore and also in other parts of the world.
So how many like conversions did you get?
Sent out about 50 applications in total. So I think
including both inbound?
Yeah, including both inbound and outbound.
Total.
Yeah, so outbound it was about 20 and inbound was about 30 opportunities. So out of that, I got maybe 10 first round interviews with HR or callbacks. And then I think about 5 to 6 second round with the hiring manager. And then I think I got 4 opportunities to speak to advance to the last round. And if I'm not wrong, I got 3 offers.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's amazing. Out of these 3 offers, like what were your criteria in like choosing where you wanted to join?
I think one thing it's the stage of the company.
Okay.
So typically the smaller company, they are in the earlier stage, they may not have product market fit, and then a bigger company, maybe like there's more processes in place, you're doing a small scope. So I wanted something with a larger scope, so I decided to choose GetGo, which is a car sharing company in Singapore. I think another thing is culture. So when you do the interviews with the companies, they're not just interviewing you, you're interviewing them. And you want to make sure that what they value and what you value are aligned to have a really good working relationship with them.
A lot of people say that right now it's an employer's market, right? Because there are just quite a few people affected.
Yeah.
Do you think it affected your bargaining power when you were negotiating for salary and maybe like equity?
I don't think so. I think if you know what you're worth and you can prove that you are worth it, I think the power is still in your pocket.
Now, how are you finding your role there? Was it similar to what you were doing back in Shopee, or were there like differences in scope?
Yeah, it was really different. So I think in Shopee, Shopee is a company with like thousands of people. So everyone was very specific in what they do. In GetGo, our product team is like less than 20 people. So we still have a lot of processes that we are not fully fleshed out. We have a lot of work that we want to do. So it's a bit more ambiguous than working in Shopee. So I really enjoy it, given the autonomy to kind of decide on what I want to do and kind of decide on what problems we want to solve, which was something I didn't used to do in Shopee.
Right, and I think especially for people who are at quite the start of their product management journey, it might be good to have a bigger scope to play with and to figure out a way and clarity to all the ambiguity. And then after that, as you become more specialized, maybe then it would be time to go more in-depth into a specific product domain. What's your goal now then, working in GetGo, in your product management journey?
I think I want to really be exposed to different parts of a PM. So for example, in Shopee, I was more on execution and delivering results. But I would say we were more like a feature factory because many of the features I built were feature requests from other teams. And sometimes I didn't really have much visibility on like why I was doing something. And I realized that that wasn't working for me personally. I like to see the impact in the work I do. So at GetGo, I want to be able to kind of take charge of the project from the start to the end.
And what's your advice for people who might have been in the same shoes as you 2-3 months ago?
So first is definitely give yourself the time to process the situation and the layoffs. I think once you have done that, you want to go into your job search with, I guess, a sense of direction and not from fear. So you want your next job to be a rebound where you just get the first job that comes, and then after a while you realize that, oh, this isn't something that I want.
Sounds like a relationship.
Yeah. So you want to kind of be very clear on what you want to do, what you want to achieve from your next job, and what are some of the things that you value. And you go into a job search knowing this, and this will also help you interview better, interview the companies better, and ultimately help you find something that's more fulfilling.
Thanks so much, Shuhang.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, cool advice. I think very, very actionable.
Sure.
Okay, thank you everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.